Round of 16. Q. DRG. Solar. Zest. 아메리카 TV 프리급 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 3 Korea's Last Stand.
What is up, everybody? We're back, and we're going to go to Solar versus Zest. We just wrapped up a very good best of 3 here with Cure versus DRG.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Cure probably regretting picking DRG there. Don't think that was the best matchup for him, but he did an all right job. Coming up next with Solar against Zest. This is just a very good match.
This is going to be a cool match for sure.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Solar taking this.
You know, Zest is funny. Like, he's sometimes the greatest player ever.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's only when he has a push that he knows will win. Do you know what I mean? He innovated a lot, especially early on in Legacy of the Void, but it seems like the longer any iteration in StarCraft 2 is out, the more that Zerg seem to get the upper hand against him specifically.
Yeah, well, his style is all about maximization, and so in new metas, he generally pops up and does a very good job. He figures something out.
Yeah.
And then everyone in the world copies him, sometimes for months, and everything he
So
figured
true.
out gets figured out.
Yeah.
Like, he led the Protoss metagame on so many times. Like, I can actually make a gigantic
almost 2
list
years.
of things that he basically invented.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, he is...
No, he innovates, everybody seizes it, and then they figure out how to make it obsolete, and then he's...
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a funny thing.
He goes up and down, but still one of the most accomplished Protoss of all time.
Absolutely. Map 1 would be Pillars of Gold. Our game is ready. Let's go.
영광의 전투가 펼쳐진다. GSL을 위하여. 전투 지원이 들어왔다. 함께일 때 우린 더욱 강하다. 카이즈 게임, 솔라, 강민수. Read your edge game, Zest, 주성.
Well, I'm excited to see what Zest will bring, because if he brings something new, that's when you really got to look at it, right? Because that's something that you mentioned sometimes is like, well, Zest always does the same thing. It's like, well, he figures, the thing is, when he brings something new, it's pretty figured out and he's going to smash.
Yeah.
And it's like he generally will bring builds, strategies that he has optimized very well and has a lot of confidence in. Thing is, yeah, people will copy him and it'll all get figured out eventually. But yeah, I guess I'm just excited because, you know, with Zest, again, he has invented and refined so many strategies for Protoss that, like, he's more of a meta shifter than anyone, I think, for the race.
This is a thing about certain players in RTS where there are the people, like the players that first got good at StarCraft 2 are oftentimes not the same players that stayed good at StarCraft 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and you know, StarCraft 2 has had obviously different expansions, and some of the patches have like really radically changed the game, right? But it does seem like there's a certain type of player that can show up to a new RTS and then basically solve a huge part of the meta early on, but then can't adapt later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, the game becomes more and more and more mechanical.
Yeah.
It becomes full of people like Zest who are just going to get so good at doing certain aspects of builds.
Right. But then the thing about Zest is he's not the guy that becomes the best at that. He knows how to get there. He's not the best at doing it. Does that make sense? Or do you disagree?
I disagree slightly.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that his execution is top tier.
Okay.
Like, he's a 2-time GSL champion for a reason.
Sure.
At the top of the world in many regards. So, no, I think his execution's good, but Yeah, it's just sometimes his stuff gets a little figured out.
Yeah, he gets mapped
but
out.
because it's so good.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's funny, too, because, like, take someone like SOS, right? Like, some of the stuff he does is so out there. I don't feel like Zest is that type of player. Like, he comes in with a very robust, calculated Protoss play. But, yeah, it does seem like players adapt to it. And, by the way, this game, I mean, if there was a player I ever thought of when it came to one upgrade like Glaives, it would be Zest.
Yeah. Well,
And here he is doing that again.
it's another one that he fully optimized for Katowice
Yeah.
this year. Got second place, only losing to Rogue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely a build he's good at. Now, this is a Ling Flood from Solar. And he's brought a lot of drones as well for the drill.
What am
Oh my god,
seeing
and the
here?
drones are actually blocking any buildings that can be made here.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Oh, man.
Oh, this
and
is
he's just going to get a
disgusting.
free win right there.
Oh, it's wrong.
It is wrong.
It's wrong. Oh, there should be laws about this. What am I seeing? This
Dude,
is so cool.
The drones, that was
Oh.
the beautiful part of this.
The ladder is ruined for everybody this week.
Dude, like,
Have fun trying to expand Protoss players.
the drone just popped in and blocked all the buildings that could be
That
built.
is so genius.
Crazy.
Oh, we're in the middle of something right now. Everything's changed now. Wow. Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
Well,
Oh my God. That's
maybe Protoss is finally going
all
to get
right.
their door.
Protosses are going extinct. It's over. The Pandas are going to
Man.
outlast the Protosses. That
'Cause-
much I will tell you.
The thing is, he actually left his units at home, which means you should be able to hold on against something like this between your units delaying the lings, killing the lings, and buying time for you to build more wall behind your wall. But with the drones coming in, there was just nothing he could do. You saw the drones move back and forth. They were just trying to
Yeah.
block anything extra being built to stop
Oh.
the lings from flooding in. As soon as the Adept died, that was it.
I got so much to say about that. That was so crazy. Zest just got scumbagged, too.
He really got
Yeah,
scumbagged.
he got scumbagged that game.
Yeah.
Damn. All over the world, cheese is being invented in so many different ways right now. All right, guys, game 2. Let's see how this one goes.
GSL을 위하여. 카이트 게임 솔라 강민수. Read your edge game. Zest. 주성.
So this is one of these things that it's always been part of RTS, right? Is because you're playing on this map, like a board, basically. You know, you can a building can't be made if there's a unit present, right? And this has always led to exploits in RTS games where you think, okay, well, I can build on top of where they want to build, or I can have a unit that runs there. I mean, a classic example is the Protoss probe running underneath the Zerg drone so it can't become a hatchery, right? But that was an example of a Zerg player coming in and using the drones. And I mean, the drones do damage, but it's not why they're sent. They're sent to eat up surface area so that the Protoss cannot sandbag the rush.
Yeah, because they can drill through the unit in the wall.
Right.
And I mean, they do add damage to the Adept, which is important.
Sure,
You know,
yeah.
it breaks through a little bit
But
quicker.
most importantly, it takes up surface area.
Yes.
And it can mine move. You can, through all that.
Yeah. And to be, like, just to make this clear for people, if that pops up on the ladder and you're getting frustrated by it, that is extremely all in. If you just
yeah.
build a building so the drones can't drill all the way through, the Zerg is dead. Because they have now not only barely made any drones, but, like, that was, he had 21 or 22 drones, I believe, during that, and he
Yeah.
brought 6 or 7 drones. So, like, he had nothing mining, man. He had nothing going on
Yeah.
other than that rush. So if you have any idea that that's coming, you just build you build an extra pylon behind, a shield battery, whatever.
Right.
The drones can't drill through that. You lose your one Adept, and that's it.
Yeah, no, it's you're completely right. I mean,
It's a one
I
use
think
right there.
I think to someone who is not as familiar with how the economics of the game works out, you just think that, okay, their drones are now in the fight. Yeah, if you hold that, they have literally wasted all that mining time that all those workers could have been gathering resources for, and you win the game. The thing is, though, is it's very clear when Zerg does that, they're confident they don't need to worry about anything after that moment, you know?
That's what an all-in is,
Yeah.
right? You're all in, you push all your chips to the center, and may the better man or the scummier man win.
Scummier man in this case.
Yeah.
By the way, we got Void Ray tech coming in here. So Void Rays are becoming more and more of a thing here in StarCraft 2 and in this season at GSL.
Yeah, I wonder what he's going to end up doing with this play. Obviously, we saw Zound quite a bit using some Void Rays. Not sure what Zest's plan will end up being. Obviously, you can clean out Overlords relatively quickly.
Yeah, the Void Ray tends to not become a high-value unit the longer the game goes on. There are certain units that seem to lose equity the longer the game is allowed to progress. And there were periods where the Void Ray wasn't really used that much at all.
None at all.
Yeah, like literally it was like, what is that unit? Is that a flying pylon? What is that thing? You know?
Yeah. Historically, it's maybe
I think it was
the worst unit.
I think it was used the most in Wings of Liberty, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There was a bunch of cheesy Void Ray rushes.
Yeah, they were better back then. Also, Corruptors were worse. Vikings were worse. And people were worse at macro because the Void Ray specifically is a unit that doesn't scale particularly well. Doesn't do particularly well against things like splash damage. Vipers didn't exist back then. You know, Psystorm wasn't used in PvP.
What?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Okay, this is the exciting one. We're seeing Zest do something new. So he has some sort of plan, some sort of vision for how the game can be played a bit differently in this matchup.
Yeah. So what is it now? He's making another Void Ray.
It's going to be Mass Void.
It's going to be Mass Void Ray.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope this works.
Oh, I think it'll work. I think it'll work.
I'm really excited by this. Yeah. Well, we were just talking about how Void Rays don't scale well, and here's the thing: I think we're right. I don't think it's like, oh no, this is actually
whatever
the only
we see probably won't be around for that long.
Yeah. No, this is one of these things where because all these guys play so much and people that are watching watch so much, we're used to the certain patterns of the game, kind of the ebb and flow of it. And so what he's done is he's made one Void Ray, which isn't crazy. We've seen that here and there. But behind it, he's actually just going to not stop making Void Rays, only make Void Rays. And there's a chance that Zerg just doesn't have the right unit composition and is thrown off balance and loses the game.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see this, man. Like, he's making 3 Voids at a time right now. Aspire just started. Solar doesn't know what's going on. He's seen an Oracle, he's seen 2 Voids. That's his intel. Oh, now he's seen 3. He's seen 3 Voids now.
And there's a number where you start to see, you go, okay, what is going on here?
Yeah, and like with this Spire, I would imagine you can't go Corruptor. Because Voids will do well against Corruptors if they're anywhere near similar numbers.
Right.
But Spire just in general, I don't think should be the way to answer this, right?
You think he wants to go Mass Muta and just...
If you go Muta... Like, they'll just go into Phoenix and you're dead, right?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, so you have a backup tech.
I think that when you see him, maybe at first you're thinking Corruptor, but are you going to go Corruptor against this many Voids?
So now he knows, by the way. This was the moment where he knows he's supposed to...
Dude, yeah, I think Mass Queen would be better. I think Hydras, plus their little Hydra hearts, would be better.
I think Hydras definitely would be better.
I think Infestors might be a good choice, but here's the thing, right? He's bringing this build, and who knows how much practice Solar has at the top of the ladder.
Yeah, there's a very high chance Solar is completely thinking on his feet here.
Yeah. Okay, he's making Mutas.
Okay, the Queens are coming up here now to try to take the fight. There is a Spore. I actually didn't see that earlier, but there is a Spore, which makes it pretty hard to actually commit to this area.
Well, the Queens are probably the scariest bit of that between the transfusions, their range. They aren't armored, so all kind of helpful in that regard. Uses this actually to show some creep. That's actually kind of a big deal. Look at this. He's getting a lot of Overlords here.
Yeah, well, anything in the presence of these Void Rays is not going to survive. But again, the Zerg now knows what it's up against. So Solar is responding to this with whatever he thinks is best. And I do like the Muta counterplay. It's going to force a recall back, which is going to free up the map here. But, and you were saying this earlier, Artosis, I mean, you just go Phoenixes from here.
Yeah, he's making quite a few Phoenixes, but Solar's not staying on this.
Yeah.
Like, the plan, it looks to me, is you go Mutas, you force them into some Phoenix, and then you have, like, a weird middling amount of Phoenixes and Void Rays against Mass Hydra. That seems to be the choice, but Zest didn't really stay on this. He's actually gone into charge, and I think his idea is to just go mass ground, like mass gateway units with this, but Solar's countering again with the Lurker Den.
Yeah, this is a funny thing, especially in games with Zergs, where it's like each side's trying to get the counter to the unit composition. And yeah, maybe the Void Rays kind of force Zerg into this certain type of production that makes them actually weaker versus the inevitable push from the Protoss. Maybe that's what's happening here.
Yeah. This is a fascinating game, though.
Yeah, this has already been, I think, one of the most interesting series with the insane cheese from Solar in Game 1, and then this really
some very different builds.
This build, I can't tell you guys if we're ever going to see this build again. This might be like the one time we see this. Like, Zest is crazy, and then we move on from there.
That's a lot of Hydras. That's hard to engage into.
Yeah, but the speed lots are here. There's not a lot of links. Okay, so immediately the Mutas can't actually take a fight. The Hydra number is starting to get smaller and smaller. There's more Adepts and Zealots and Stalkers coming in over here. The Mutas, again, cannot win the fight against the Phoenixes.
Yeah,
Did Zest just win this game?
Yeah.
I can't quite tell.
I think so. I mean, he's got his Prism right outside here. He's about to have another round, and almost all the units are dead. Yeah, he did it.
What?
Right?
I think so, yeah.
It's hard to say. With a few units left over, just the Sky Army can almost win, and then you get another round of Zealots?
Yeah. No, I think Zest actually won the game. I'm just not used to seeing Void Rays actually fight stuff, so it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't quite have the...
a bit harder to judge.
Yeah, I don't have the instinct for it, since it's such a not used unit, especially in mass like this.
Well, we've definitely seen it making a comeback with the new patches. It's interesting, he did not even go for any sort of Fleet Beacon play or anything.
Yeah.
Just the base Void Ray. All right, some Lurkers being made. Well, Zest did a lot of damage. His economy's looking pretty smooth. I would love for him to have taken a 4th base during that. I think that's the one thing he could have done better here. But Solar's going to try to hold on with Lurker tech, which, to be honest, like, if you think of, for instance, when we saw Zaun playing, right? Like, against Armani, and Armani was like, well, I'm basically dead, but let's just get into Lurkers. When you have Lurkers, you kind of become mostly invincible against gateway units.
Yeah, there's not an easy way for gateway units to come in there and breach the defense, if the Lurkers are in position.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like Zest, once he recognizes what's occurring, he's already got 3 Stargates. You can go carrier here very simply. Very easily.
I hadn't actually even thought about carriers as
like, if he just goes back into air when his opponent is going heavy anti-Zealot at this point, it's like, Lurkers are not good against carriers.
No, they literally can't even fight them. Well, let's see here. I do feel like, even though we saw Zest win that little engagement and take the base out, I think his plan was to actually end the game with that, not to have the game go on. So I'm curious to see how the rest of the game pans out.
Yeah, I think that's about fair.
And I do think, by the way, Zest is still in the lead here, but it's a funny thing because now we're post Void Ray surprise attack, you know.
Well, yeah, and I agree. I think there's certainly a lead, but the 4th base is coming up for Solar, so that's something to mention. But Zest is getting the Fleet Beacon, so I would be extremely surprised if he does not go carrier here.
No, I think you're correct. Yeah. I think he will go carrier.
And the mistakes that we saw from Zaun were things like not trading in bits of his army to actually get the carriers. And I think that's something Zest won't mess up here.
Now,
like, he'll start to get aggressive, trade some of his units out, and actually make the units that count.
Will we ever see Zest do this again, or do you think this was a one-off weird?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we could see him do it again.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I'm curious about that.
It doesn't feel like a one-time only thing because there's some flexibility to it. Like, he went 3 Stargate Void Ray, yes, but it didn't feel like it was all in, right? It was on 3 bases. He transitioned into another unit set. He was ready for mutas with the Phoenix production. Now that there's lurkers out, he's switching to that. Yeah, no, it seems all right. We'll see how it develops, though.
There's also a dark shrine on the way here, too, to kind of finish up all the tech. And for now, it does seem like growth is going to be a problem here for Solar on this map. He's not going to be killed easily, but he's also not going to be able to just take new locations. And I think if I'm the Protoss player, I just stay back and keep poking out these new bases and let the game,
absolutely,
you know, let the game sort itself out in that sense.
Yeah, you're not going to break his 4-base layout,
right?
Because he's basically defending 2 positions. You're not going to with this army.
Oh,
so just roaming like this and killing bases on the fringes, it's perfect.
This is also a map where there's not a whole bunch of places you could try to sneak a base. You know, it's pretty easy to keep the Zerg contained and under control.
Okay. Big counterattack actually coming in from Solar, but that means that Zest can hit somewhere else. And that's really weird, because he started to hit and then he pulled his army back, which...
Yeah, he's going to actually recall back here, so let's see how this actually goes.
Okay, well, he should have some Psy Storms in there, so it should go well.
Yeah, but Lurkers are now in position here, so the ground army's going to have a hard time fighting this. These Templars need to actually cast Storm.
Where
there
are
we go.
These Storms? Oh my god, he actually loses a lot of the High Templars. But he's got flying units here against Lurkers. That was... His ground army got truly shredded there. I think it would have been better to kill that base and lose his 4th, but I guess he saves the 4th base.
Does he save this Nexus?
Oh my god. A Bruce Willis Nexus.
That's right. Just bleeding to death through the whole game.
Wow.
So, Protoss is stabilized, has actually miraculously saved both of these bases here. And now the counter push comes in here. And again, I mean, the Zerg does need to keep growing. The Protoss, it is an odd game because the Protoss has actually outgrown the Zerg. But I guess that number of Hydras is enough to threaten the carriers to back up.
Oh, I almost felt like he could have fought that.
I was wondering the same thing. I thought, is that really...
How many assaults does he have under those carriers?
I'm not sure. I guess not enough if he runs away.
Too, though. I don't know. It felt like he could have fought that.
You just need anything, like even that number of zealots we saw right there.
Yeah. Okay, well, he's continuing to add carriers. Here's some High Templars to add in. So definitely increasing the strength of his army, no doubt.
Okay, again, we have another push coming in here. It's pivotal for Solar that he keeps this base alive. If Protoss comes through here and smashes this, the Zerg is eventually just going to run out of resources. We see even over here on the right side of our screen.
Yeah.
Almost mined out the minerals there. There's one other base to the upper left.
It has more minerals than this, but it's not going to last forever.
Yeah, it is definitely temporary.
Zest getting ready here.
Yeah, and this is a very good position to set up here with the Spore and the Lurkers.
Dude, that has to be too many carriers, right?
I think so.
Plus a few Psy Storms.
I feel like when I look at this, I think Protoss has to win, but Zest, I guess, thinks otherwise.
Oh, there you go. That's
there it is. Perfect.
Go.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it better than this.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. Is he just waiting for that Archon to finish? What's the deal here?
Yeah, I do. The Archon doesn't really matter at all. You're playing against Hydra Lurker. Like,
yeah.
He used feedbacks on all the Vipers.
Yeah.
Which means nothing can be abducted, which means the carriers, like, I feel like he missed an opportunity there.
He might be just a little bit too passive, but let's see what happens here. This is chased away. Is this going to... With these Hydras over here, will that invite the carriers over to that other base?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna multi-prong harass, oh my God, he's gonna recall into the main, I think.
Oh, that would be pretty insane.
That would be insane.
Oh, this would be like one of the. It's like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
He's going to do it.
He's going to do it.
This is beautiful. I love this. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
What in the world? Look at this.
You'll see this every day.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he's going to kill all the tech. The Lurkers can't reposition in time. They'll have to run up a pretty tiny ramp. There's Templars easily in position to storm this. Here we go now.
Yeah, some Corruptors are here now as well.
And
okay,
I
nice
think
abduct.
it's fine to lose the mothership. I think it's already served its purpose. Wow.
Oh, those spines actually almost got all the High Templars.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, Protoss closes in here, and this is one of the most insane games I have ever seen.
That was wild. I love the recall. I was wondering why he didn't attack in.
Yeah,
but that's why. That's why.
You know, exactly. I was in the same page as you. I thought, okay, what is your plan if you're not going to push in? Why did you get these units, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, here's why.
Well, if, like, all your tech is up there, he's going to kill all your tech minimum.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that's actually the unstoppable end the game move, whereas the attack in, there was like things that can go wrong, right?
Yeah.
Start losing some units, he gets energy back on Vipers, etc.
There's only one thing that Solar can do now, Artosis, and that's to pull 8 drones like game 1 and all in again. This has been one of the most unique PvZ series I have ever cast. I am so excited to see what's going to happen on Golden Wall. Who do you think takes this?
Oh, it's
hard to say, right?
And I think Solar is a little bit favored here.
Okay, well, our game has loaded up, guys. Let's do this.
영광의 전투를 펼치자. GSL을 위하여. 카이트 게임, 솔라, 강민수. Redo your edge game, Zest, 주성.
Yeah, this will be fascinating, whatever we end up seeing here. Okay, so Solar is actually instantly going to take the third base location, which isn't going to be the gold. So that's just one thing to mention, right? Because definitely gold bases are something that has been very powerful CVP in the past. It can really help with some, especially like roach-based attacks.
Oh yeah, you get a lot of momentum. It's actually perfect for roach-based attacks.
Yeah, to the point where there was actually, back when we had a lot of maps with gold bases, there was like a whole metagame around what you did with your gold minerals. Like, I remember this one game, I believe it was actually Lenok, who went Muta with a gold base because it countered the counter to gold bases. So there was a lot of cool stuff back then with that, but it definitely seemed very Zerg favored.
So we've got to cast a lot of games on this map, and so we're getting more and more familiar with the meta surrounding it. It does seem like the Zerg tend to want to play around getting the gold base. This is a map where like you have a lot of bases you can take that are pretty far away.
Yeah.
And we may have that this game. We'll see. I don't know.
Well, with what he took there, like, even if he takes gold base now, if it's the 4th base, you don't care so much. Gold minerals mean a lot more early on.
That's a very good point.
Basically, the thing about gold minerals is you still get a really big economy, but with less workers. And with Zerg, that helps so tremendously because that means less larva spent as well.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and then all the early Zerg stuff is very mineral heavy that you want to get anyways. So when you put that all together, it's like the early game gold base is very scary for Protoss, but like even if he takes it as a 4th, it's not going to be considerably different.
So we've got the Twilight coming here now. And so far this is going to be a pretty slow game. There hasn't been much that's gone on other than Solar was forced to take a 3rd base in the upper left. We got Robotech coming here as well. Ling speed coming down.
Do you think it's just a Glaives build?
I think so, yeah.
No Archon drop?
No, I don't think it is an Archon drop. I mean, if it is, I'm fine with that, but I think he just wants to put some pressure on here.
Yeah, you're probably right. There it is. All right, Ling speed is going to be finishing.
I got a question for you, just because this game is a little bit slow to start off. That strat we saw Solar do, is there a very easy counter to that? That Zest just doesn't know?
Drone length?
Yeah.
All you have to do is build a building so the drones can't.
So you just make a building ahead of time and that just stops it?
Well, obviously having the units at home as well, a lot of the Ling floods we've seen, Adepts would be out on the map, and that's part of the reason why they win.
Yeah.
But he kept them at home. Some of the Ling floods have become a lot more popular, right? But if you have all your units at home, And if you have any idea that it's coming, you just complete your wall so the drones can't block buildings behind the buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have held it without any issue. It would not,
Yeah.
like, I mean, it can be scary, but as long as you SimCity real quick, you're fine.
Yeah, just blockade it as much as you can.
Yeah, so that would definitely be a fix.
So those glaives are coming here, and we're going to start to see some pressure. I wonder if we'll have Zest do that Void Ray thing more often. I can't stop thinking about it.
Well, if he wins here, he has to play DRG, and I think there is a possibility. I'm interested right now as well. What is his follow-up here?
Yeah,
He's going to go Dark Shrine. He's going to go into the Speed Disruptor drops, I believe.
I think you're correct. But this right now, this build, this looks like a Zest game here. Warp Prism out there, Adepts warping in.
Yeah, the speed, I mean, this Adept portion of it is something that he's worked on a lot. Targeting Queens.
Yeah, so far right now, Solar's control has been really, really, really good. He's really not taking any heat on here. Kind of a general trend we've had with Adepts is that they seem to be less and less powerful with each year that we tack on to StarCraft 2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
well,
I mean,
they've been nerfed several times
right.
as well, but
Yeah,
people
yeah.
got used to them also.
I think originally people just didn't know how to handle the way that Adepts moved around.
Yeah,
It was just like a very, there was nothing in RTS that was quite like that, where you had to deal with the possibility of a lot of damage in one of two places that they could fork away from each other.
quite unique.
So Warp Prism Speed's coming here, and you were right, Artosis. It's going to be more disruptors coming here
Yeah, and
with speed.
Zest is actually, during this, taking the gold base. That's kind of interesting too, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like taking the gold. I guess it's fine. But generally when you go for a gold base, I think as Protoss, you want to flood gateway units. So maybe this is just going to be a massive Stalker disruptor push, like we've seen from Zaun.
So we've talked about this before, but I got to bring it up again as we're having more disruptors coming here. The disruptor is being treated more and more like the StarCraft 1 Reaver.
Yeah.
You know, putting two disruptors into a Warp Prism and then using that to get your disruptors into positions where they can do a lot of damage. It's a really, really powerful move. I'm kind of surprised we didn't have more of this earlier on, but it has been a trend that's picked up.
Yeah.
And anybody who's familiar with StarCraft 1 knows, you know, Shuttle Reaver is so
Yeah.
much part of the Protoss way to play the game.
Sure. Well, I think it's a difficult unit to figure out exactly what its place is. Look at that. Wow, kills a bunch of eggs. Very nice. But yeah, to make it fit into the metagame, to know all of its micro against all the different pieces and all the different, like, how it's going to fit into your build and help counter what your opponent's doing. It's kind of a complicated unit in that way. I'm sure people are like, herder, it's throw the thing and it kills stuff. No, there's some complications as to how to make this work correctly.
And we're seeing the first Reaver-esque play in here is that you start to fly the speed Warp Prism in there, hit whatever you can hit. Usually in this case it's going to be drones, maybe queens or larvae, and then you come back out. But I think what I'm more excited about is the later part of this, which is going to be when this is used as part of the push. You're taking a fight and you have this Warp Prism come out here, take some shots, pick it back up, move to safety, and keep getting more and more efficient exchanges.
Well, it looks like his main push, while it will have disruptors in it, it doesn't seem like they're going to be the main part. He's just going Colossus and Blink. Not the greatest micro right there on that one, but...
By the way, the Ravagers are usually the target you want to get.
Yeah.
The Ravager actually can't escape the disruptor shot if both players control perfectly.
Yeah, and they're expensive too. Now look at this. This is a pretty darn big attack coming out.
Yeah, and all the harassment we saw earlier on, it was there to soften the main army so this push would come in here. And this is not a well-positioned Adept here, so the counterattack damage is going to be real.
Yeah, that could be an issue. Orphan in a few units, but that is a lot of lings. All right. Zest has some micro perfectly on this front, so can't be wasting his time looking at that too much.
Okay, this is a pretty nice arc. More Stalkers warping in. The push is commenced. We don't have any force fields yet. There they are.
Force field's not really doing all that much.
Yeah. I think Zest is going to take this fight. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think he should.
He should, right?
Another warping around. He's not actually micro perfectly. I wonder if he's jumping back and forth to that harassment. I think the harassment might be dealt with at this point, though.
Yeah, it's just Ravagers now. More Warpins are coming. And with Zest pushing in like this is going to separate all the rally points from each other. They're going to be in the middle of everything, and this is where it gets very chaotic for the Zerg.
Now, that does open up some flanking opportunities, but Zest is just going to get on top of some of the production now, going up to this third base.
And there's actually, like, all the tech here. It's like the Den, the Roach Warren, and the Infestation Bit are here. So I think if Zest can just hold this position and not lose his units, he's going to win this game.
Oh, man. Very nice disruptor shot there as well, taking down some Ravagers.
Yeah.
Tries to bile the Prism, but not enough. And that's it. Zest going to take out Solar. All right, nicely
Zest,
done.
An absolute beast. This was one of the funnest PvZ series we've cast in a while.
Yeah, it was a very interesting one. Solar opening up with a really crazy all-in and then falling to a brand new Zest 3 Stargate Void Ray build into Recall.
Yeah.
And then losing to something that's becoming more popular right now, the Glaive Adepts into Speed Prism.
Yeah. Well, that was just a delightful series.
Yeah, that was cool. That was
Each game completely different from the other one. Really good play by Zest, though. Really cool to see how well he's doing.
Well, we'll see. Now that he just showed those builds at least, what does he have for DRG?
Yeah, he's going to have more stuff from the Protoss end if he's going to win there. Guys, short break. We'll be right back.